The Detroit Tigers actually did it. Tarek Skubal is a Los Angeles Dodger, and baseball fans are already screaming about a lockout. Is LA breaking the sport, or did Detroit get a king's ransom? We're breaking down the entire deadline, checking in on the brand new WPBL launch, and just hanging out and talking baseball. Cue the music because podcast name Deferred starts right now.
Contract deferred, getting paid until the day I die. Money coming in, but not one at bat, not one pitch, and not one strike. Being deferred is where it's at. Deferred.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Podcast Name Deferred. I am your host, Seven, and yes, I gave Dan the week off because I desperately just needed a 1 hour vacation from a Yankees fan. But we aren't short on star power tonight. We've got blockbuster trade deadline to dissect, starting with Tarek Skubal heading to the West Coast. Joining me at the roundtable to break it all down, to my right hand is Giants fans Craig Newton, Dodgers fan Erica, and we were supposed to have a guest with us tonight, Greg Rawlings, who runs the best baseball group on the internet. Unfortunately, he is not feeling well. He could not make it tonight. We are going to work on getting him back on soon. But first, obviously, most important is we want him to feel better. So, Greg, you definitely are in our thoughts, and I will see you again soon, man. Now, make sure you drop your thoughts in the live chat below because we're going to be breaking it all down. Please make sure, let us know you're here. Let us know what you think. We'll talk about it if we don't already have it on the list. Before we dive in, though, special shout out as always to Wire to Wire Sports Network and the Sports Nuts Network for having us join them. We appreciate all of you. All right. So obviously we have to talk about the Tarek Skubal trade. Now, in case anyone watching or listening was living under a rock, the Detroit Tigers traded Tarek Skubal to the Dodgers for outfield prospect Zaire Hope and pitching prospects River Ryan and Brady Smith. Craig, I'll let you lead us off, sir. What was your initial reaction to the trade? Erica, looks like Craig's having some issues. No worries. Erica, what were your thoughts?
Listen, I was genuinely shocked. I was joking about it. I made numerous jokes about it. I didn't think it was really going to happen, though. I did not think they were going to pull that out. I really expected another team to get him, not the Dodgers.
I'm surprised that another team let him fall to the Dodgers because that package that they gave up really wasn't a lot. In the grand scheme of things, it really wasn't.
And there are so many other
No, you're right, though. And there were so many other teams. Like I said this on Sports Nuts last night. All 28 other teams would have they had the ability to meet that offer. What it was.
Yeah.
And I saw this reported in multiple places. A lot of other teams didn't even make a pursuit because they didn't want to spend a lot for somebody that they have resigned to the fact is probably just going to sign with the Dodgers in the offseason. And there we go, Craig. You good now?
I hear you now.
Okay. So many other teams have resigned him to being signed in the offseason by the Dodgers that they just didn't even try. And that's admitting defeat. And that's not
I don't
how
think
the
that's
game used
fair,
to be
though.
done.
I don't think that's fair, though.
It's not.
Teams that could happen him. They could do the same thing.
Well, and the offer,
exact same thing, same offer, same amount of. There's so many other. There's so many better farm systems than the Dodgers. Like, let's just be real here.
No, you're right, Craig. What was your initial reaction?
I thought for sure the Rays would grab him because they had a better farm system and they have better players that are contract locked in than the Dodgers have. So I think the Tigers got they got hornswoggled, swindled, whatever. They settled for lesser than they could have got, and because of that, screw them.
Yeah, no, I don't feel bad for any of these teams, honestly. There's no reason that it had to happen this way.
Nope.
And for me, the thing of it is, like, I don't like what this has done to the game as far as people discussing things now. We're going to dive into that stuff in a little bit. Erica, with the trade that there's been the inevitable outcrying that the Dodgers are the reason for the lockout now. As our Dodgers fan, I'm going to let you have the soapbox on this first. Remember, no swearing. Erica, do you agree with those that say that the Dodgers are going to be the reason for the lockout?
No, I don't. Because at the end of the day, if any other organization would just finance their money and run it properly and do the same thing, they could all be sitting in the same position that LA is. Yankees have done it. Other organizations have done it, just not to the degree maybe of what LA is doing, but like it's been done before. So let's not hate. It's okay. We just want 3 in a row. Just let us have it.
Craig, what do you think, man?
Well, clearly one of the questions that I was going to answer was, it's another grade A win for the Dodgers. Did Detroit maximize Skubal's value? No, they did not. Once again, the Dodgers spend prospects for another championship. I don't think Detroit maximized Skubal's value. To answer your question regarding, are the Dodgers going to be the reason for this lockout? No, they're not. Even as a Giants fan, I will say that opinion is an overreaction, but I understand the concern from the fans and from some of the media that the Dodgers keep adding stars season after season with the trade to get Skubal. It's easy to see why. Here we go again. The rich keep getting richer with their deterred contracts and willingness to pay the luxury tax. No question, the smaller market teams' owners will use this trade and the Dodgers to point to the need for a salary cap. But this lockout is coming not because of the Dodgers. It's coming because both sides, the owners and MLB Players Association, cannot agree on the league's economic system. My question back to you guys is, are the Dodgers breaking baseball, or are they doing what we wish our teams should do, but instead are exposing other owners who choose not to spend money they already have?
So I will say I definitely think that the fans that are angry at this are the ones that are wishing that their owners would do the same thing. Now I'm gonna show something that Erica, I think it was Erica that showed me first, and we talked a little bit about this on Monday night, but this graphic to me, it's from 2024 season, the percentage of the team's revenue that went back into payroll. We look at the teams at the bottom: Miami, Chicago, and Tampa Bay. Well, those teams are all down there this year as well. Tampa Bay's payroll is only 110 million. Chicago's is less than 125, if I remember correctly. And there's still that small of a percentage is going of their revenue is going back into the pocket of their players. We look at the teams at the top that everybody's mad at: the Mets, the Dodgers. These are also teams that are trying to compete. And I think that, and I said this on Monday, I think I have a new solution for how we get players to agree to a salary cap. The salary cap is based on team revenue, just like that chart. The cap is 75 to 90%. Your team has to spend at least 75% of their revenue on payroll. They can't spend more than 90. I guarantee you that fixes it. Because the players are going to know that every team has to spend more money. They'll negotiate out some stuff so that these guys with deferred money get their money, and it's how it's going to count in the meantime. And then they'll go. But here's the thing: the reason it's not about controlling and making all the other teams spending is because the owners would never go for that plan. Not even a little would they go for that plan. And it's just proof that it's not about creating balance. It's about asserting control and pocketing profits.
For sure.
All right, so Craig, I'm gonna give you the floor a little bit here, because as I've been thinking about this, where everything's coming with the CBA negotiations, and we think about where everything was in the 94-95 lockout and season and strike and all of that, we're at this same point. They're trying to get a salary cap. It is very clearly headed towards a lockout right now. As far as the state of baseball and what was going on, are there a lot of similarities with the rhetoric and not necessarily the teams that are spending and the teams that don't want to spend, but the propaganda, the rhetoric, the conversations themselves? How does this time compare to that?
I'm glad you asked me that. I read out some notes, okay? Because I took this as a really serious question.
It is a serious question. I appreciate that.
94, this was a player-initiated strike. The work stoppage in 2027 will be an owners-initiated lockout. In 94, the players were the bad guys. They walked off the job. They were the reason the World Series was canceled. Back then, there was no digital or social media. All the news was through the newspapers and television and sports talk radio. The owners back then did a better job of controlling the narrative and portrayed the players as selfish, taking the World Series away from the fans. The battle back then was free agency and a salary cap that the owners tried to force down the union's throat. The biggest difference now is who decides to stop baseball. This time around, the owners will have the power, and with that power, they'll make the first move and lock the players out before they vote for a strike. This time, the players have indicated they would continue negotiating without work stoppage. This time around, the owners are not in a mood to be touchy-feely. If no deal is in place, a lockout in 2027 will take place. Mark it. The issues are like 1994-95, but the landscape is different. Back then, owners wanted the salary cap while the players fought to keep the free agency, and salary growth back then was still new. The gap between the highest and lowest spending teams was not the same gap as there is now. Now the gap is broader. So going into 2027, in addition to the owners revisiting the salary cap, they are insisting on a salary floor. This time around, the players' union is operating from weakness. They oppose the salary cap because it limits earnings. They want to see a measure voted on that discourages teams from spending too little while at the same time expanding players' rights and compensation. In 94-95, players refused to work. 2027, the owners will refuse the players to be allowed to work. So it's not about the Dodgers. It's about 30 owners trying to decide how far to push the players' union to decide what kind of economic system Major League Baseball will take into the next 10 years.
Very well said, sir.
Thank you.
First of all, very well said. And that's interesting because I hadn't even thought about the fact that the players initiated that strike. I knew that, but it's been a long time since I've thought about something like that. So that was an interesting difference.
I think I was
but
in diapers.
you probably were. And I think that one of the things that's interesting to me is about what you said is the players are the villains. The players were the villains because that's how they were portrayed. And what they wanted was better wages, more ability to have control over where they go, and just, better treatment by the owners. This gap has been insurmountable with the gap between players and owners since the inception of the office of the commissioner and before that. So I think that to an extent, I can say that I don't like. I get why the players are called the villains in that strike, but I can't say that I agree with it because we didn't have the access to information that we have now. I can't go look at Twitter and see what Barry Bonds said in '94 about the strike. About how he felt, what he was saying in '93 about how he felt about the owner's treatment of the players. Like we can't go back and look at that. And so I would say for me the biggest thing from that is I'm not so sure that I could call them the villain. But the owners are definitely the villain here. We can say that because all the information is out in the open because they don't have a choice. And what the players want is very realistic, very, very, very reasonable. What the owners are trying to do is prevent, and it's a small contingent of owners. What they're trying to do is prevent being in a situation where they have to have those contracts themselves to have a franchise player. They don't want to have to pay their franchise guy $700 million. They don't. So the easiest way to avoid that is to get rid of that stuff before it becomes a commonplace in the league. Brandon, what's up, buddy? Good to see you. Thank you for stopping in. Brandon's a host of Sports Nuts. Just finished the 6th season last night. It was a great show with those guys. They'll be back, I believe it's the 18th. So definitely check them out. They got a couple of special episodes coming up as well. Some great, great stuff. But I just, it's frustrating that the information is all the way out there and it's very clearly that the owners are the problem. And it's here's the weird thing about this. You guys are going to hear a weird statement from me. I don't think that this isn't as much as I don't like Rob Manfred. If there was our first tagline of our show is a podcast name is like the Dodgers payroll. It's been deferred till 2034. Our second is you have to remember the Weaver rule. And for those of you that don't know, because you haven't been around the show before, the Weaver rule is that you must always wear pants while you're on camera. And that is named for our good friend, former Yankees pitcher, Stephen Weaver. May he rest in peace. And then the third rule. The third rule of this show is F Rob Manfred. And if it wasn't for the fact that we love Stephen so much, they would be switched. But this is not on Rob Manfred.
Mm-hmm.
And I again don't like the guy. A couple of things he's done for baseball that have been positive. We have to admit that. The ABS challenge system and the pitch clock have done amazing things for baseball. However, F Rob Manfred, first of all. And second, this is not his fault. This is on the owners, and
Are you feeling okay?
no.
Curiosity kills the cat. Okay.
All right. So now let's see here. I might be pregnant. I think that's where the weird emotions are coming from. But I don't know.
Oh my God.
We'll see. All All right. So we're going to dive in. We're going to talk about some of these other deals here. First, I'm just going to throw out. I was going to ask Greg, our guest. He's Braves fan. Was going to ask him about the trade for Tyler Mahle, and the fact that Atlanta could have done better. And we talked about it last night on the Sports podcast. So I'm going to say that I'm going to say this: the Braves acquisitions were horrible. Alex Anthopoulos, yet again. Like I have a feud with an MLB GM, and I've never talked to the guy. I don't understand how this is a thing, but Alex Anthopoulos, dude, you suck. Let's talk about your additions and all of the positive things that you did for your team. Let's start with Lane Thomas, outfielder, career 240 hitter. That's really going to get your offense going. Bailey Falter, a bullpen reliever, 13.77 ERA this year, career at ERA of 4.77. Brent Suter, 4.12 ERA this year. Another bullpen piece. Not what you want to see. Tyler Mahle, your starter, 5.13 ERA this year. That's a really good foundation to have at the back end of your rotation. Tyler Uberstein only pitched in one major league game. He was in the Red Sox system. I watched this game. I remember what game. He finished that game. I had put 2 2/3 inning at a 3.38 ERA, had 2 strikeouts. Wasn't horrible. I think he only gave up 1 run in that time. Not ready to pitch in the majors. This looks like the toxic boyfriend that does things around the house to make it looks like he's actually cleaning, when in fact he's not doing a darn thing the entire day while she's out earning money to pay for his new rap album. Like, that's what it looks like he's doing. And Braves fans, you're going to be frustrated at the end of the season. I hate to say it. I don't like being the negative guy, but you're going to be frustrated at the end of the season. You're going to come back and you're going to realize that he did not do a darn thing for you at the deadline. And you need to start calling for his job now. All right. Craig.
Yes.
I know you're like me and you have a soft spot for the Cubbies, at least for this segment anyway. Hold on. Yeah, okay. I know that you're like this, at least for this segment anyways. What do you think about them getting Kevin Gausman, and how did the Cubs do at the deadline?
I'm glad you asked that question. First, this is a very aggressive move by the Cubs. We talked about what their needs were. I think they've addressed them. By getting Gausman, they strengthened their pitching staff. And Gausman immediately upgrades the rotation to postseason form. He's a veteran who already has playoff experience. He's not afraid of the big game or the big moment or any pressure. That's a great move by the Cubs.
I thought it was great. And as much as I want to trash it, I really like the Yankees pickup of Luis Garcia Jr., as well as Helio Ramos. Erica, what do these moves do for the Yankees, and how do you think they did at the deadline?
Actually, because they needed those bats for sure, especially the right, and hopefully he can help with the slump and with Judge still being out. So I think it was good for them. They really needed that for their offense, so it's really good for them. I wish they would have done some more, so maybe there would have been some more hate on the Yankees instead of all on the Dodgers, but,
I think the Yankees needed a starting pitcher. I'm surprised they didn't get one, but the offense, their pitching has been keeping them above water. Their offense has been the issue. And so I think that I like Helio Ramos. I know Craig was sad to see him go, but he's a great outfielder. He's a good hitter. And I think the Yankees he's going to do really well because he hits well in the AL East ballparks anyway. And so if you can get him into Fenway 8 times a year, into Oracle 8 to 10 times a year. Like that's
Yeah.
going to be good for him.
Yeah.
So I mean, I like it.
Yeah.
Now, of course, the other trade we got to talk about, the Boston Red Sox traded Carlos Narvaez and 3 top 5 prospects for Orioles catcher Adley Rutschman. I very creatively explained my dislike for this trade on Monday night's Sports Report episode. There was a clip of that rant. I posted it this morning. Here's what I will say. I did not like the trade. I think that he was overpaid for, whether he was healthy or not. I think that the fact that he's been on the injury list 3 times this year and you're trying to say you're in win now mode, what are you trying to win? Most players on the IL? Like Craig Breslow, dude, every time things start to work in your direction, you shoot yourself in the foot. And that's the most frustrating part of this is there were some better choices that could have been made. He could have started trading a little earlier to get the pieces that he wanted. Because if he trades for Shea Langoliers early, maybe Shea doesn't get injured and end up out for the rest of the season. Or there's so many other things that you could have done. You could have traded for Tarek Skubal. You overpay for Tarek Skubal, nobody says a damn thing. Just saying. And that
no,
rotation,
but like seriously though.
Right. And Boston's rotation with Tarek Skubal added in. I'm sorry, Justin Bennett, that you have to go back down to the minors, even though you are having a stellar impact on this roster. But when Garrett Crochet comes back, you've got Garrett Crochet, Sonny Gray, Tarek, Peyton Tolley, and then Ranger Suarez. That is a broken rotation. So I mean, like you could have done that and not. I understand that catcher was our lowest offensive producing position. Catcher's a low offensive producing position on a number of teams. I would have much rather had a more long-term solution as shortstop or something better. Curtis Meade is going to grow on me. I know he will, but you could have done better there too. And so I hope this works out and your plan works because I'd love to have an egg on my face and just be seen as another angry a-hole sports fan that can never be pleased. Please prove me wrong. That would be the greatest feeling in the world because you're in the World Series. And I'm just like, oh, well, I guess I have an egg on my face. You know, it is what it is. I would be okay with it, though. The other one I wanted to throw out here.
I wanted to do a point counterpoint, if you might.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
All right.
We got
Tony, my esteemed Boston Red Sox fans, my opinion on the Red Sox trade. Acquiring an impact catcher like Adley Rutschman, when there are so few impact players at that position, the trade deadline was huge, Tony. We said they had to fill a bullpen. Remember that? They had to fill bullpen needs. They added left-hander Eric Miller. They did just that. My question to you, Red Sox fan, I think you already answered it. You clearly believe they overpaid for certainty over, but it's what a contender needs. If they're going to contend, they got to get an elite catcher. So they traded away a few, prospects. I like the trade, and the championship window's open for the Red Sox. They had to make the move, man.
I would be, and I get that when it comes to prospects, like you never truly know if they're going to be what you expect them to be. I mean, we've already seen Christian Campbell came up. He was the rookie of the year in April last year and has been nothing ever since. Marcelo Mayer, since he came up, he was called up probably a little too early. Very highly touted though. When he was healthy, he was great. Has had a lot of injury issues. Things just haven't worked out in Boston. He's now down there with you guys, and I think that that's going to be a good spot for him. A refresh, I think, will be positive for him. And maybe just getting away from the Red Sox medical team will be, good for his safety as well. For me, though, like when you're with Enyenson and with Kyson, like that trade was 3 of the top 5 prospects in the Red Sox farm system. Even if one of those 3 hits, is it really worth giving up Adley Rutschman or going for Adley Rutschman and also giving up a catcher that hasn't had the best year offensively, hence the reason that one of the reasons they need to make the upgrade. But as a backstop has been fantastic. Was huge for the Red Sox last year. And this is more of a down year than worthy of being traded, especially after where he's been. So I don't know, as much as I get, win now. And if you're going to have a new catcher, you got to get rid of one of them. But I think that there's a very big risk with this, because if the issues that Adley has with his injuries aren't just a short-term thing, this is just like when, traded a lot for Chris Sale, only for him to spend more time on the IL than on the mound. And some of these other players that have been traded for in the last 10 years that spent more time on the IL than on the field. And I'm sick of that being a problem, man. And that's why if Adley was healthy, again, if Adley was healthy and the injury concerns weren't there, I would be willing to accept the overpay. It would be, this is an overpay, but we need him. And that's why I say, like, if he comes back, he stays healthy, he contributes, and I look like the a-hole, I will be ecstatic. But on paper, to me right now, there's a lot of concerns with this, and I don't like it. But the thing that is working to our favor is the fact that Boston is now, after including today's win, 7 in a row again. 9th straight series win. Hey, Erica, who are those first 4? Who are those first 4 wins of this 7-game streak? Who they sweep?
Who was that?
Man, where's Ando for a stats check when you need him?
Who was that?
Man, let me look at my notes here. Oh, it was the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Hey,
oh,
Craig, I have a question for you, Craig. Didn't you do some lose somebody because he got hurt on a scooter?
Harrison Bader.
Yeah.
Oh God, that was funny. I'm not gonna lie. Like,
okay. I don't want to hear from you.
It's in their contract. They're not supposed to ride on scooters.
Yes, it is.
And so he's. I mean, no pun intended here, but pun intended. Like he kind of shot himself in the foot here.
Yep.
He kind of stepped in it when he stepped on it. If you catch my drift.
Yep.
All right, so now Craig.
Yes.
All right. Luis Arias was traded to the Phillies from the Giants right before the deadline. You've had Arias all year. How do you think he does in Philly?
I'm glad you asked that question. The Phillies got an elite contact hitter, which, as we talked about before, what were their needs? They needed to have a contact hitter. This solves a big problem for them not having that hitter in the past. Not only that, but is he a hitter, but he also consistently gets on base. He'll be protecting a very happy Bryce Harper. When it comes to the postseason, his contact hitting will even out every single freaking inning elite pitcher that you face in the postseason.
Yeah.
There's no wannabes or has-beens that take the mound in the postseason. They're all elite. Every single inning is intense, and with his hitting, he'll be able to even that playing field. No pun intended. As for the Giants, strictly building for the long term, the pitchers they acquired fit that plan. The only question is, did the Phillies acquire the hitter they needed or the hitter they wanted?
That's a relevant question. I
Thank
think
you.
with how little they moved, though, I happen to think that that was the focus. And I mean, look at the Dodgers. The Dodgers had multiple needs, but their GM even said they had one focus, and that was Tarek
And
Scoop.
we went for one of them.
Yeah, like that
we
that
went
was
for
their
one
focus.
of our main things that we needed. It's our bullpen.
And so for me, like, I think the Phillies wanted him. And I think what's going to be interesting is you're going to see a really talented player with a really good guy in his ear every day in Donnie Batts. And I think we could even say, I legitimately think we could see a little bit more out of Arias than we've seen it. And no disrespect to San Francisco and the teams he was with before, but when you can get the ability to learn some stuff from Don Mattingly, you're going to become a better player.
Oh, I agree. He's going to shine in the postseason.
Absolutely. And I think that the ripple effect of that move with Bohm at first, Harper back out in right field, I think that is I think that's going to be good for the team in general.
Yeah.
Harper's great in right field. That's where he should be. I don't know why you put him at first. I guess you want to try and save the energy. He wants to be out there in right field running around. Like that, just because he looks stoic, I guarantee you he's got ADHD and kind of wants to be out there chasing some mosquitoes around every once in a while. Like he just needs to get that. He needs to get that energy
I
out.
genuinely love that move by Philly. I love that move by Philly putting him out there. I love it.
I think that I really don't like, before we move on to the last part of this, I really don't like the fact that the Yankees and the Phillies have not gotten the credit they deserve for what they did at the deadline. And I think you look at the Yankees, could they have done a little bit more? Could they have tried a little harder maybe to get Gausman or Clay Holmes? Absolutely. But that the hitting improvements, that's going to be night and day for that team, especially once they get going. And Philly could have done a win in a few different directions. But they're in a situation where if you make the right move, you don't have to make a lot. You don't have to mortgage a lot, knowing that you don't know where your coaching situation is going to be next year. Maybe you don't have the same GM next year. Like there's a lot of different things that could be different about that entire program next year. The cost-wise for what they gave up to get Arias, easily justifiable. Nobody's going to argue that. And like, I kind of wanted, I know Boston was looking for a right-handed bat, but I kind of wanted Boston to go for Arias. I thought he would have been a great addition to second base. And I think especially with how Boston's playing right now with a lot of small ball and just making other teams make mistakes, which is that's what they're doing. You can go watch the game tonight against Chicago. I watched most of it. They took advantage of pitching mistakes. They took advantage of fielding mistakes. And even though there may not have been errors up on the score sheet, like they took advantage when they needed to. A couple of good home runs, or there was one home run as Wilyer Abreu, 4 home runs in his last 8 at bats. At that home run in the 4th inning, I think it was. Just stupid good. And but the Yankees and the Phillies legitimately did, I think, the best. Like the Orioles, they got a lot of prospects. They're building for the future. But the problem is they've been building for the future for the last 10 seasons. Every year they're building for the future. But they got heralded as on ESPN had him as one of the winners of the deadline. Like, what did you win? And I'm sorry, but the Dodgers didn't win the deadline. Yes, they got Tarek Skubal. they also didn't address any other need that they had.
didn't.
They still need their, like, it's great, but once
Yeah.
you get Eric Skubal to 100 pitches, you got to go to your bullpen. If you ain't got trash back, but trash back there,
Yep.
you're going to be, especially if you face a team like the Yankees or the Red Sox or the Phillies, because those bats are going to be swinging. And so I can't give the Dodgers don't win the deadline just because of the fact that they drafted Tarik, or they traded for Tarik Skubal. The Phillies and the Yankees moved with purpose in a way that a lot of us wish our teams would. The Braves would have killed for that much, that effective of a deadline for their roster as they're getting ready to go into the deadline. The Cubs did great. I appreciate them getting heralded. They should, because the two pitchers that they picked up, that's gonna really help them, especially as they make the journey through the wild card.
As we close out the free agency, I think we pat ourselves on the back because we've been talking about this for almost a month, what teams needed, and without very few exceptions, right down the line, what we said they needed, they addressed. So
in some way,
good job for us.
Yeah, we're Big J journalism here at the podcast named Deferred. We're professionals. We just happen to have had to take some time to learn not to swear while we do it. All right. Before we wrap things up tonight, Erica, the Women's Professional Baseball League kicked off this weekend. We got to see all 4 teams in action and even the first home run. How did things go for the launch of the Women's Professional Baseball League? And do you have any thoughts on how the players did?
I mean, it looked like it kicked off pretty well. They had an opening pitch done by Yvette Maribel that used to play for the original Women's League. So that was really awesome that they had that opportunity to have her out and throw that pitch. Everybody looked good. I mean, it's first weekend. Anything can happen, but it looked great. Players were looking good, looked ready to go and play.
I agree. It was some good baseball. And that Maribel, she's so sweet. She's been in some of the social media stuff that they've done, and she's got a quick wit about her that I absolutely love. She's so sweet. I wish that I could sit and talk baseball with her because she would teach me some stuff. She really would. She's got a great eye for the game. Craig, did you see anything?
I'll be honest with you, I did not see the games, but I do have some comments.
Yeah.
Okay.
The first is, even before the first pitch, huge news coming out about ESPN and Scripps Sports signing an agreement with the league. It gives instant national exposure to this league, which it desperately needed. So even when the first pitch was thrown in anger, they've already got ESPN on board and they've got Scripps Sports. No question the launch was a success. And the hope that some players would become the face of the game, and league got off to a great start with players Mo Davis and Kelsey Whitmore. Those are going to be fan favorites. The easy part is done. What happened with the opening, that's the easy part. For me, sustaining the magic and the momentum, that's going to be the hard part. But I think they will.
I think they will too. For me, one of the things that I hope to see things can stay consistent, but my concern is with the talent pool of women's baseball. Women's softball has a huge talent pool. It is massive. I think they actually waited until the right time to start because they will be able to expand and keep steady talent. There's maybe a handful of women's baseball programs per state in this country, and sometimes it's not even that. And most girls don't play baseball after Little League. They go into softball. And some of them, like they're I mean, with the fact that you've got like 10U, 12U, and 14U softball teams now, a lot of girls don't even play Little League anymore. They just stick right into softball. And so my concern with the success of this league is the talent pool, because they're going to need players when they expand. I love watching Kelsey Whitmore play. I think she's fantastic. Monet Davis is great. The girl that hit the first run, Danae, I can't remember Danae's last name. I was just looking at it the other day. Very talented hitter, got a very clean swing, but I just hope that people lock in on it enough that the league can stick around, because I think it's good for baseball in general. Even if it sticks around and the AESL just continues to explode out like it has, which I think it absolutely should. Just to see it stick around in a successful form in some way, I think would be great. Even if it's more of a touring thing, not necessarily, entertainment based like the Savannah Bananas, but if you have 6 teams that just kind of tour around and play and do stuff for women's baseball all around the country, very, very reasonable thing. Good.
I have a thought.
Go ahead.
With this lockout coming up in 2027, what better advantage will that league have as far as, hey, we've got baseball, come watch us?
They need to be starting at the same time. They need to plan their season.
Yeah.
They need to plan their season to start earlier, because that's how you're going to maximize on that. You're right. They absolutely should. That's the thing. I didn't consider that part of it, but they should be trying to see if they can start their season in April.
Yep.
And here's the thing: spring training in April, regular season games starting in like mid-May. Go with an 8-week, 10-week season. And maybe, if they're still going to have, because I think they're supposed to go to 6 teams next year. If they go to 6 teams, and you could do like an 8-week season, and it's not going to be overly done. If it's still only going to be 4 teams, then you got to keep it to 6. Like, I get that. Because you're going to see so much of each other. But that would be where they would be able to capitalize the most on growth. But then the question becomes, once the boys of summer, as they are called, step back out on the diamond, how much are they going to lose? How much is the women's game going to lose once those guys are back out there?
Well, they still got ESPN and the other network. I mean,
that's very true.
So, I don't think they'll lose much. And I really think that if this lockout takes place, it could be the whole season, because the owners are not going to play touchy feely. Like I said before, they're out for blood. They have a long memory from 1994, 95. They're not going to play nice, and they've got a war chest that they won't be hurting at all financially with a season lockout. Whereas the players, not only do they lose playing time, and in a season, they also will lose money. So the owners are going to play hardball, no pun intended. But I mean, they're going to be playing high and tight and headhunting.
I didn't even see this, Ben. I'm sorry, man. Guards won the deadline. That's the end of the discussion. Guards can't win a game, bro. No, but honestly, the Guards, they made correct moves, I think. I mean, for a team that's struggling and couldn't beat the Mets today, 6-5, for some reason.
Yeesh.
It's hard, man. I can't take the Guards seriously because they are somehow messing this up, and they're going backwards. They've got to, hopefully what they did at the deadline is going to help, but they got to figure it out. And that's what sucks. All right. Let me see. Okay, so as always, before we close out, as always, I want to show love to Wide Wire Sports and the Sports Nuts Network for allowing us to join you. Remember, if you missed any of tonight's show or prefer to listen rather than watch, you can find the show on all major podcast forums. When you stop by the Podcast Named Deferred Facebook page, you can get a link to the Spotify channel from there if that's what you prefer. Next week, we will have Dan and Nano back with us, so don't miss out. Thank you for joining us tonight for Podcast Named Deferred. Have a good night, everybody.